All right, so this is just a quick overview of what's happening with the layers. I'm going to describe here a quick fix we have, a temporary fix, actually implementation with a bit of diagnostic information that will help us understand what's going on. Let me first set up the scene. This one's just a little background scene. I'm going to finish rendering that, and that's of course using the 3D designer. So I have my background scene here. Perhaps actually I wanted to have it a little bit bigger and close the bottom as well. So I'm going to re-render that on the transform 3D designer. And let's use the perhaps a little bit closer here. Let's go in and bring it down to the bottom. Something like that. Maybe even stretch it a little bit more. Stretch it a little bit more sideways. Something like that. You can always add a little bit of grass at the bottom as well. Let's go something like this. Okay, so here's our background scene. I'm gonna go with some particle brushes. Where are my particle brushes? There you go. Put some grass there. Particles enable. I'm gonna go load baddie grass and just put something in the foreground here. Something like that. All right, so that's not in different layers yet. What I want to do though is show you that this was in one layer. You can see here in the layers stack, I have a couple of layers. I have a background image, the layer 0, just plain white. And then this one here, the second one, that's the one with the sky and the mountains and the grass. And I'm using a magic pink layer mode on that. Now if I were to change that, you wouldn't see much different, a little bit though, because it's using the multiply mode by default here. But if you do magic pink, anything that's got some pink tone might be a little bit, might be transparent. But this is good enough. I'm gonna keep that one. Let's store that just as a snapshot because it's nice. What I'd like to do is now show a couple of things, and that's to add a layer like this one here with some sun images, and then another layer here on top with some of these. Now these guys came obviously from the browser stickers collection. If you look at stickers here, these are 3D stickers from Michel Agulot that come with the program. And there are a variety of different cartoon animals and so on, and these are against transparent background. So you can see if you load these brushes, if you store and manage a copy of these brushes, you can see how this fox is against a transparent background, and there's a whole film strip of them here, this whole collection of cartoon characters like this. So that's directly in the animated brush. And what I'll do is I'll just show you that you can now actually flatten two layers like this. And that's with this new update. It's a temporary update because we are producing some what's it called, some diagnostic debug messages as well, some feedback, so we can see if there's any problem with some of the other modes. This is a fix for Magic Pink, but we suspect there may be some other modes that haven't been tested much or haven't been used much, and if anybody reports there's a problem with that, please let us know what the layer number is. So I mean the layer mode, blending mode is. I'm going to show you that and demonstrate that right in a second here. First I want to make sure we understand what we're going to do with this image. So that one's the sun here. We have this mountain here. We might actually want to have the mountain above the sun. So let's do this. Let's bring the suns around here into another layer. So let's bring it down rather. Let's bring it down to lower layer down. And so now it's showing just the transparency here because this one is in Magic Pink mode, but the sky is not transparent, it is blue. So that's obviously a bit of a challenge there, and this one here is in Magic Pink as well. And so that's a scenario where we probably want to actually use a different technique. I'm going to bring this one back here. And for now I'm just going to focus on blending the other two. So let's bring this one back down, and you know, you could have the sun actually behind the mountains, but the way to do that is to select the mountain, the part of the mountain that is not to be painted in. I want to paint the sun into it, but not over the mountain. I want it to appear only on the sky. So here's how I do that. I'll select the magic the layer in which I'm erasing to pink, so it's actually transparent. And what I'll do next is to go back to the mountain scene where I can easily select the sky, which is all the same blue. And when I do that, let's go select it with the magic wand, for instance, here, magic wand tool. When I click that, you'll see the marching ants, the outline, and so that way I have a selection that's showing basically the sky has been selected. I can store that. That's a good idea to familiarize yourself with some of these tools to temporarily store these resources. But now that that selection mask is enabled, I can go back to this layer, and that's where I want the sun to be painted. So I'm going to go back to my brush and select the browse the media and find the stickers and find the one with the sun images. There's a variety of sunshine here, sunshine. So I can paint across here, and now you see that it's only painting where the selection mask is letting it to be painted, right? So let me undo that again and demonstrate that one more time. And you could also do an animation where the sun rises or that sort of things, right? So here is one way to composite that into what seems to be the background, but it's simply the mask from the sky preventing it to go over the mountains and basically stay apparently behind it. Now there is another layer here, and that one, if we enable it, that one has the animal collection. For that, we will really want it all over the place. So let's go and clear the selection mask. We don't want the mask to prevent, let's clear alpha. We don't want the mask to prevent painting those into this. And what we want to do is really paint them all over across here. So again, go to the browse media. Let's find some of those forest animals and see what they look like. Okay, so you can see that whenever you click, it's painting one of those. Some of them may have a little bit transparency, right? You may see some of the mountains through it, because if they are showing some reddish or pink tone, you might actually see behind it what's in the next lower layers. But it's very subtle, and sometimes like this one here with the butterfly, you might say, well, that's great, actually, you want it transparent like that. That's actually the transparency from the PNG, from the brush image. So that's one where you could get the whole family here and paint all that all over. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Let's go a little bit like this. Let's make them a little bit smaller too. Let's make a few big ones close and a few small ones. Let's do the small ones first. So let's store the brush that we currently have, store and manage a copy, and then make the size go a little bit smaller. So now you can see the preview here. That's, by the way, this toggle PRV for preview. And we'll put a few of them here, and then we'll go, actually we'll put them a little bit, let's undo that, let's put them on one side, kind of small over here, and then let's go bigger. And you could also do other things like change the rotation, change the hue, saturation value, or that sort of thing. So all sorts of things you can do to a stored brush image. And in fact, we could also go just grab a different collection, right? Maybe we have forest animals first, and then we have some fairies there. And so the fairies will be right over here. All right, so that's the idea. We now have these in a layer. In fact, let's put these in a yet different layer, right? So let's go add one more layer here, and it will get that pink overtone initially. So we need to change the mode to magic pink mode, and because we did erase it to pink by default when we created that layer, it now is appearing transparent. And so we can paint into this one, and we will put those fairies right over there, maybe even on top of the sun. So you see now you have multiple layers, right? You have one layer with the fairies, and let me go minimize this one, store the layers with the image, the brush with the fairies. We have one layer containing the fairies, and we can transform that some more. We can shift it around, for instance, and get these guys, these ladies, to be appearing where you want them, and they wrap around. And so that's that. And then the same thing with the layers containing these forest animals. You can reposition those. You can reposition the sun. You can transform the mountain scene, right? For instance, you could go here to filter, transform, and use the transform mode. And you see it is magic pink, right? The background is pink there, but it's in magic pink layer mode, so it's making that transparent. But you can make them a little bit bigger. Oh wait, that's the fairies. Let's go, we need to select this one here, the mountain. If we want to actually work on the mountain scene, we can go to filter transform now. Transform, there you go. So here we work with just this layer and make that a little bit bigger, make it a little bit smaller, tile it, right? Rotate it, all sorts of funky stuff you can do with that. So what I wanted to do now is show you that in the past, one thing you were able to do already was to flatten all, right? You could flatten the entire image. This entire stack of layers could be flattened. What was not working properly is when you selected two layers, or let's say you select one layer, to flatten it just with the next one, right? This option here was broken, merge with next layer. Well, now this is fixed, right? So we have this update will give you a temporary fix. We have put some debug code in there, as I mentioned, and so if you flatten this, just this one to the next layer, that's layer 4 to 3, okay that, you'll get a message here, and this one says 17. This is just a temporary debug message. What that 17 means is the layer blending mode that we used. Now, you did not see anything disappear, and that's good news. That's what was happening before, is that one of the layers actually was not there anymore in the merged or flattened image. So 17, if you find any of the other layers modes not working and something disappearing rather than blending in the flattening process, please let us know what is the number you see. Here we saw 17. In your case, you might see a different number depending on what it is. Right, which layer blending mode it is that you have. We would want to know what that number is, so we can go and check for that particular mode if there is something wrong with the code. So we have now one less layer, and this layer here now has both the fairies and the forest animals. Right? If you look here, these two were flattened together, and then there is. Let's do that one more time with the sun. Right, we can do, or maybe we could combine the sun with the background mountains. So let's temporarily disable the fairies and forest animals, and just look at these two here, and we have the sun right there, and that one's in magic pink mode, and we have the mountain scene, and that one is in magic pink mode too. And so we should be able to take the sun layer and flatten it down to the next. And there it is, and it is still layer blending mode 17. And now what's remaining visible is this one here. That's the layer with the mountains and the sun together. And here is another one with the fairies and the forest animals. And it's one happy family. So that's what I wanted to show you, is that we have this capability now to blend those two magic pink layers together without having to stack it all together. That's also still possible, of course, right? If you're done with this and you want to do your final image that is just one flat image, you can do that. That's flatten the entire image. And then at that point, you essentially have your final result. What you get is what you get. What you see is what you get. So that's what you would probably save out as a BMP, a TIFF, a Targa, a PNG. No more transparency masks in this particular case. And off you go. All right, thanks for watching, and please do let us know if you do find any sort of problems with some of the other layer blending modes. We just took a quick look at number 17, which is the mode that we identify as magic pink. But if any others you are using and you find an odd behavior during the flattening process between two different layers, we would want to know so we can take a look at that particular case as well. All right, thanks, and talk to you soon.